For today, we have a new topic based on resourcing, which is the second part of resourcing. And I have given you a homework assignment. There will be the question for discussion, right? So let me see. We got two kind of questions, right? So, dearies, all of you, please mute your microphone right now. Yeah, thank you very much. So let's start with the homework assignment, then we continue with the topic. Okay? The first question is, what are the advantages and disadvantages of part-time working for the employer and for the employee? So we are going to see that advantages and disadvantages from two sides of contract. For example, from the employer, the company side, and from the employee, the staff side. So as you know what is the part-time working, when we work a few hours a day or a few days in a week only, right? Anyone wants to reply and ask for the question? So I will try to pass your microphone, then you can speak and discuss. So I hope so. We have some students who done the homework assignment. If there is anyone have ideas, what advantages and the disadvantages of part-time working? I think you should know. So not any answer. So I'm not sure that did you understand the question or the homework itself. If you would like to speak, I can pass you microphone. I think you can do it, and I will try it if we have this function. Okay, here is some answer from charts about what advantage we have in part-time working, even the money, acquiring the experience, right? That's the main ones. What disadvantages are? So we know advantage of part-time working, for example, for women or men, no matter what's the male or female, that anyone knows that you can get your experience even if you are not able to, for example, go for office and participate in the office actually. So you can run your business for example, if you had your own business based on part-time working, or you can continue your experience, right? Get some knowledges and skills to get some additional money for your family budget. Like the part-time workers as well, they got the salaries. So when you work at part-time work, it's better than you won't be work at any time, right? Because you are developing yourself, your skills, knowledge has he given me. Yeah, that's right. So what about these advantages? So we know what these advantages are of the part-time working for the employee side. What about the employer side? What will be advantage for employer, for the company itself? Any ideas? So I have some answer. What about disadvantage? I see. So that you are talking about from the employee side, right? That you cannot get the salary the full amount, right? That as full-time workers, you can't enjoy some training or learning courses. Of course, that would be some disadvantage. You are not participating with your colleagues. You have no those relationships that we have at the company or organization. So you are not participating in some corporate culture, right? This is the disadvantages. Sometimes maybe you want get some information which all of will be getting in the office, which is will be let's say allowed to see for all of colleagues. Yeah, when we work in the offices, that's why. So what about these advantages for the employer? The first disadvantage for employer that it's hard to control and monitor your work, your staff or your employer, right? Because it's not in the office. Sometimes it will be difficult to reach them. What else? Sometimes, for example, the team working would be the best solution for all of employees that work in the company and who's working at part-time regulation, that they are not able to participate in any team project, right? This is as well some disadvantages. What about advantage for employee? That would be, for example, if you have very like a talented, high-skilled professional employees, and let's say the woman who is in maternity leave, so you can still have, and they can still join the company later as soon as they can. So you just retain the your employee that you want to, and you will give the chance to work at the company based on the part-time regulation, right? And as well, let's say the salary or earnings or wages for part-time workers are being lower than for the full-time workers. So here is the employer or the company can save money. This is also some advantage for the employer, right? So let me see your answers. Yeah, for the employee, the advantage is that there are some jobs which does not require for a post to be recruited. So part-time employee will, with less payment, can perform that job. So we talk about that employer can save money having the part-time work. Yeah, that's it. Even sometimes we need some high-skilled professional people, and let's say they can work based on the part-time regulations only. So in this situation, maybe the company, let's say, will be forced or will be like needs to recruit that kind of people because they are professional. Sometimes we need like this. And this is also some kind of advantage for the employee, right? So even if you cannot recruit that employee for full-time, you can do it on the part-time base. We talk about high-skilled, the professional, some technical people. Yeah. So here is I have some idea from Miss Nadi. She said that the employer, they don't provide some insurance, sick leave or pension or something else for the part-time work. This is depend on contract actually. If you have a contract based on part-time regulation and there is no written about your pension, sick leave or insurance, so then the company won't pay you. If you have your contract even based on part-time workers, but you can still have insurance, you can still have a sick leave and pensions. So here is we talk about what kind of contract you have between the employer and the employee. So that's good. Okay, we have got some good answers for the first question. What about the next question? The second question is, what is the future for teleworking, or we can call it as distance working? As you know, most of we are learning based on distance. Yeah, we have some distance learning right now. You have a distance learning based on MBA courses. As well, from my side, this is as well is like distance working. So what is the future, you think? So what is the future? What it would be in future of the distance working? What development we can see? So there is, we have as well some advantages, yeah, for the employers, but might be its disadvantages as well. Any idea based on second questions on distance working? What is the future of how you will see the distance working in the future? Let's say the 5 or might be 10 years ago, we might see that e-learning has no development. Maybe we haven't. Let's say think about the e-learning, right? Based on through the internet or like distance learning. But by the way, today at the present time, e-learning has a high, let's say we have a high development based on the e-learning. A lot of universities, colleges, they provide distance learning. This seems like has a lot of advantage for students and for the education university as well, right? So you can make some suggestions based on the e-learning. So this is like how we can see the distance working as well. Any idea? Any who wants to answer the question? If you would like, so I can pass the microphone. So because we have some discussion part. Today we have high demand on as well learning, distance learning, and for distance working. Yeah, that makes life easier for all of us, for organizations, for employees, for students, for all universities and colleges, right? Today, most of high-skilled people work based on distance, as they have, for example, it's sometimes difficult to reach geographically one location for another one. So even it takes time, right? Because today time is high, is demand, takes high demand. So the time is very important. So time will be equal for money. So we are going to save time, and we save the time we can enter and join some distance working, let's say. So this is all based on internet, right? Based online. So through the internet, we can do a lot of things as working, learning, participating, joining any kind of the programs, courses, projects, right? Yeah, that's okay. So I got some answers from Miss Naj. She said that we can see that practical example based on MBA course, as I told you as well earlier. Most of we are working based on the full time, right? As I know, for example, sometimes it's hard for you to get the free time for learning or teaching courses. So the MBA program through online will be best solution for you to get the new knowledge, skills, right? So here is we have two sides, and which benefit from the e-learning, let's say, from distance learning. This is as well as the company members and the students from the other side. Sometimes, for example, let's say e-learning, if you would like to go to join the university, let's say in some Malaysia, in other countries as yours, in Malaysia, let's say, or in Europe, sometimes it will be difficult to you. Let's say it costs more high, right? Because you have to first of all, to join the university, for example, have to go for those place, to read the place by the airplane. That's cost. Then you need to rent some accommodation. That also will cost you. As well, if you study based on full time, you won't be able to work and see your family, right? This is as well some disadvantages. Or let's disadvantage of full-time learning, or let's say is advantage of distance working, that you can save money, time, and your job based on learning, based on e-learning. So first of all, we talking about to save money and time, right? To save the cost and time. That is the best, the important, the most important things that we have in our life that we are going to save. So today we all have as well. Let's say about the literature, about the books as well. We have e-books, all literature in internet, right? You can get it. You have a lot of access for free e-books, or you can download it and pay for that. Would be some for charges. So it's as well give you some advantages. You save the time for shopping, go for shopping to choose the books and to buy it. By the way, you can do it through the internet, right? So let's say we have a lot of advantage, and let's say we have a very feasible, we have very good opportunities in foreseeable future for distance working as well for distance learning. So today would be seems as the normal, let's say, the process for people that live in the world, who use the internet actually. So thank you. So I got all of your answer. That's all good one. So, but I'm worried that you don't want to answer, you don't want to discuss and talk by the microphone. So I hope the next class you will do it, because for example, to chat, it takes more time than to talk, let's say. Okay, it's okay, fine. For the first discussion, would be fine. For the next one, I hope I can see your voice. I can hear your voice. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that you might have some problem with the microphone. That could be as well. It's fine. Okay, let's continue with the resourcing topic that we have. So today we have a second part of resourcing topic, which should be held on recruitment and selection methods. At the first part, we just have introduction to the resourcing, and we have learned about what is the contract, who is the contractors, what kind of terms and regulations we have, right? You remember that? And today we are going to study about the recruitment process, how it's going on, and what kind of selection methods we have, and we use in practice actually. So first of all, in the recruitment process from the HR department, we have to determine the vacancy itself. So if you are going to recruit, you have to answer for the following questions. So to determine your vacancy, the first of all, let me to highlight you. What does job consist of? That means what are the functions will be of that particular job, of the particular vacancy, what the function will be included. Next question is, in what way is to be different from the job done by the previous incumbent? That what should be developed and improved in this vacancy compared to the previous one? You know, sometimes we have, let's say, some disadvantages or limitations in the previous vacancy or job, and we might need to correct it, to improve it, to develop. So, and we have to think about, should we improve our vacancy, our job itself? That's what is included actually, or not? If we need some correction, we have to make it. The third question is, what are the aspects of job that specify the type of candidate? That means what we have kind of aspect of a job is vacancy itself, that we can identify that that candidate will be met with the vacancy. What actually the candidate, let's say the future employer must know about the job. What it must know, what functions, let's say, he must do it, and what skills, knowledge, and experience he must have. This is about the third question. And the fourth, what are the key aspects of the job that ideal candidate wants to know before deciding to apply? So, before applying for the vacancy, you should know what kind of function you should do in the specific vacancy, right? And what you should have based on your experience and background. This is important. What actually the candidate who is going to apply, what he should have before applying for the vacancy. For example, as you know, let's say in the advertisement there is given like requirements for the candidate. Let's say he must have high education, the experience in 5 years in, let's say, in the marketing field, and maybe know the English language, some special skills. Yeah, this is all about the first question. What aspects should be identified in the job before applying to job itself? So let me see. I have some questions. So this is today we have resourcing, the second part of resourcing topic. And in the second part, we have two sections, recruitment and selection methods. So you didn't left anything, because at the first part of resourcing, you got introduction and the information on contractors, contracts, and so on. Yeah, you should remember, and you have all the presentation. So, first of all, before recruit candidate, employee, we should answer for the 4 questions that we have to determine the vacancy, right? So, this is a normal process. The recruitment process, actually, when we have a new vacancy, let's say, or we have a free place of vacancy, so the HR department starts from the internal recruitment. What is actually internal recruitment? You know that in most organizations it happens. Like in many organizations, they prefer to invite the applicants from the internal candidates before they look to the external labor markets for the new staff. That means that before to find a new candidate, the HR department is trying to look that candidate at the from the existing employees, that who might be, let's say, move, get some promotion. Let's say if it's promotion high, let's say the higher position than the employee had, or who can change that position, let's say. So before we look from the existing employees, who can replace or who can get that promotion or new vacancy, right? Then if the company like HR department and top management won't be find anyone who will be met with the vacancy, they will look at the labor markets, they outsource, they recruit through the advertisement and so on. This a new stuff, let's say. So here is, I will have some table 1. Here is given to you the methods of recruitment, how it happens. Actually, in the 2006, there is a usage of various methods of recruitment by the 800 organizations, but this is through the source given to you from CIPD of from the UK statistics data. But by the way, we can apply it in our countries as well, I think so, because we have all the same situation right now. Let's see, the 79% are being recruited through advertisement in local press. The 76 being recruited by the recruitment agencies. That we have recruitment agencies. Then we have 75 being recruited by through the corporate website. This is that most of, and at the recent years we use this method, and it's not a method. Let's say the most of candidates use the source to be recruited from the corporate websites, right? 66% was recruited through the trade press and journals. So we have some 51% by the job centers. So we have some word of mouth. Someone had been recommended you, for example. We have some nation's newspapers advertisement, education license. When the university, for example, when the employer comes to university to look for the new candidates. Some commercial job board internet sites. We have special, the post portal, billboards, radio, TV, and so on. This is just giving you statistics data. The most used methods of recruitment, but based on the 2006 year. But let's say in the table 2, there is another information from the different side, from the employee side. What methods of obtaining a job, what is methods being used oftenly, let's say from the men and women's side. Here is another one, statistics information for your consideration. Let's see, the hearing from someone who worked there, yeah? So here is, we have 30% from the men's side and 25% from the women's side. Then reply to an advertisement, most of usage. Direct application, we have a 14% from men and 70% from women. Some private employment agency, job center, and so on. So I think most of you might be recruited from this kind of methods. You would find how you've been recruited in your organization or your company. Yeah. So the best ones, as you know, this is the recommendations from your friend, colleagues, past colleagues of let's say from your friend, the recommendations, like hearing from someone who worked there. This is the best solution. As well, like just you are going to reply for the advertisement. If you are looking by online, through the internet, let's say, you just can reply for advertisement. Let's see, will get you the job or not. This is based on the requirements of employees, right? Employer. But today, at the recent time, as you know, that we use the internet mostly in our life, and the e-recruitment takes very expand place to be recruited by the employees. So internet recruitment takes two basic forms. Like first is centered on the employer's own website. Like corporate company, they have their own website and they can replace the vacancy, right? So you can reply for that or apply. And next one, we have the second approach, make use of the growing number of career agencies which combine the roles of traditional played by both newspapers and employment agencies. So that means we have some employment agencies, like let's say you have it's called like job.com, looking for job.com. There is a lot of jobs. Yeah, there is a lot of employment agencies or online newspapers that we can use to reply and apply for the vacancy, right? So I think you have used already, will be used in the future, might be. So what actually advantage we have from the e-recruitment side? The first of all is cheap, right? This is from the side of employers and the employers. It's cheap, very fast. You can reach it through the internet, and speed, yeah. And as well, it's a worldwide. So if you would like to change your place geographically and work overseas, so you can do it through internet. Why not? So because it's worldwide, we have a lot of different people working outside. This is as well, the e-recruitment gives us this kind of opportunities, right? Have you seen someone by today who is buying the newspaper to looking for job? I think it's not any kind of this demand to buy a newspaper, right? Because we can do it through the internet. So let's talk about the side of employer when the company wants to recruit overseas. Here is given you the following some advices if you would like to recruit overseas. But this information based on the UK regulations, but we can apply in our countries as well. First is recruit in countries where the skills and qualifications are comparable with those in the UK, which means those in your country. So for the company, it's important to recruit the people if they want to recruit overseas with that country, which will be very similar for you to compare with the skills and qualifications, right? because this reduces the length of time for training the people and to begin actually perform the job itself, right? Then it's important to recruit in countries with relatively high unemployment and relatively low wages compared to your company. Elsewhere, workers will have a great deal less motivation to move to the UK. So the best situation if you recruit from the new employees from countries with a high unemployment, because there is a very high unemployment of workers, and if there is a very low salary, you can save your costs, right? This is from the side of organizations, so they can save money. Next one, the meet potential candidates face-to-face before employing them. Do not rely on telephone interviews or on some opinion of agency, because this typically involves flying managers out to overseas destinations. This is like, if you would like to recruit the candidate from overseas, you have to see him or she face-to-face and have a discussion and interview, right? Because it's very important. Because the telephone interviews, let's say online interviews, give you different information, can give you some wrong information. And today, actually, the most of organizations, they have a few, let's say, the few levels of recruitment. First, you have to first of all, you apply for the vacancy through the website, yeah. The second, you might have some test or some exam, let's say, based on the vacancy. The third one, you might have some interview through the Skype or the phone. And the last one could be you will have the interview face-to-face with your HR manager, let's say, and maybe with the top manager of the department. So you might have 2 or 3 interviews. This is the best solution how the big corporate organizations are recruiting the employees. Yeah. The next one, you have to ensure that the candidates have a strong communication skills and a sufficient level of competence in the English language. This is all about if you work, you have the organization company in English-speaking countries. Yeah, it depends on if you work, for example, you have your company in Afghanistan, and you would like to recruit a new candidate from the nearby countries. You have to be sure that he or she has a strong communication skills on Afghan language, right? This would be important for the job. Next one, ensure that the appropriate accommodation is provided when the new recruits first arrive in your country. So this is very important, because when the companies plan to recruit overseas, they have to, actually they have this, let's say, the conditions in the contract, they have to provide accommodation, the house or apartment where the candidate will be live, your future employee. You have to provide. So, and most of the corporate, the huge company, they provide accommodation for the new employees, or have to try to manage the accommodation or house or apartments. Yeah. So this is really just giving to you some advices or like recommendations if you or your company trying to recruit the new employees from overseas. So right now we are moving for selection methods. So we have seen what the recruitment process, how is going to the recruitment process, what kind of how the job can be obtained. We have seen some statistical information, given to you some advices. Let's see how the selections process is going on. So we have a few selection methods which can be used, let's say, in combination or separately. It's based on the company's rules and regulations. So selection is a two-way process. So what kind of we have a useful point to interact with the candidate. So this is the recommendation for the top managers for the organizations. So when you're going to select the people, a new candidate, so you have to reply meaningfully and fast. The printed postcard of arrangement is not your reply. So this is all about when new candidates applying for the vacancy from the side of the company, we have to reply fastly and to notice the candidate if they are being accepted or not. This is depends on requirements. The second one, you have to conduct correspondence in terms of what the applicants wants to know. How long will they have to wait for answer? So we have to announce the candidates. They might have a wait a week or a month to be replied. If you add them in for interview or assessment center, how long it would take? So we have to announce about all the time regulations for the selection methods, like how long they have to wait to get the reply, how long it takes time for interview and assessment, and so on. Next one is the interviewers should be trained to be sure that they have not only full knowledge of the relevant information, but also the skills to manage the interaction effectively. So the interviews must be professional veterans. So they have to know, they need to have skills and knowledges all about the vacancy itself, what actually the candidate should know, and what kind of requirements is been asking. And how actually the process of selection is going on. So it must be in effectively and efficiency way. So this is three useful points for the interviewers who is going to recruit the candidate. The next selection method is the selection criteria and the person specification. How we should identify what is under what selection criteria the candidate will be chosen. Let's say what the person should know. It's all about the skills, experience, and knowledge qualifications. We have to identify the requirements for the candidates, right? What skills they should know, what kind of experience, how long the experience should be in the specific field, what kind of education should be, and all about the qualifications, special attributes, or interests and motivation. So we have to identify and make, let's say, the list of requirements for the special vacancy. The next one, once we identify the requirements for the selection, we have to determine the criteria, selection criteria, like how we would select the candidate, our future employer, from the rest of them. We have three kind of perspectives which can be used to identify and select the new employer. The first is organization fit. The company requires flexible and adaptable employees. So there is the criteria is how we are going to choose the employee. It's based on does our candidate will fit with the organization itself. Here is he or she must be flexible and adaptable. Yeah, for the existing corporate culture, for the existing corporate rules and regulations. The next one is a team or functional fit. Here is the employee has to fit into pre-existing work team. So here is the new candidate must be fit with the existing work, with the existing functions of position, with the existing team. So here is as well, the employee must be very adaptable for the existing situation in the company. And the next one, the last one, we have a criteria as a job fit. Like here is given competence, personal skills, knowledge, motivation, traits of image. So here is the employee, the new employee or the candidate must be fit with the with the required skills, knowledges, experience, and so on. This is all about when we talk about the personal competence of employee. Okay, I have some question on chat. So let me note you that when I'm explaining the slide, first of all, I would like to explain all the slides that you've seen, then answer for your questions. So I have some questions. So what there is previous slide was the recruitment method. Okay, here is, so when we start from the selection methods, let me show you. Here is given, the first selection method is given to you the useful points for the interviewers, for the company itself. Yeah. The next one is given to you how we actually select the people based on like requirements as a skills, experience, education, and so on. Then we have seen selection criteria. What is important for the company? How actually candidate must be fit with the company or with the vacancy or with the existing team already. Okay. And after that, we're going to see the selection methods. So what kind of selection methods we can choose? So you can use the combination of two or more the methods. So as the most of companies using. So right now we're going to see the methods of selection itself. The first selection method is application forms. So what you should know that, like a biodata have been defined by Anderson and Shackleton as historical and verifiable pieces of information about the individual in selection context, usually report an application form. So you know what is application forms. When for example, the company have a corporate website, they have some application forms which candidates have to fill out them based on all the questions they have, and the HR manager, let's say, or they will select the candidates based on the application form, based on the application information they have. So all these application forms actually they are provided in the websites as electronically. You can see and fill up your email to the company, right? I think most of we have used this kind of application forms when we have been trying to look for a job. Yeah. The next one, the second method, we have a self-assessment or pure assessment method. So here is the self-selection questionnaires on the company website. Here is like corporate companies have a website with the questionnaires. So there is a questionnaires all about your background, your experience, your motivations, where you fill up all this information, and HR manager, they will select based on your information. Would you match with the vacancy or not? So this is the questionnaires, yeah? The first was application form, the next one is like questionnaires. As well, we have some telephone interviewing. So the telephone interviews are the best used as a part of structured selection procedure rather than alone. So most of all, that we use the telephone interviewing after we got some application forms, yeah, or some questionnaires that we have select the candidate based on good application form, and then we might provide him some telephone interview. This will be like, let's say, the second level of selection method. Okay, let me stop right now the class, as I think I have a request for prayer time. Just let me know if you are requesting, all of you, for the time for prayer, then we can do it right now. So I should get some the accept from all of you. So I think you are agreed to make a prayer time. If you are not, then you can continue the class. So let's make a break for prayer. If you need for 5 or 10 minutes, that would be fine. So okay, so we have a break for 10 minutes, by the way, starting from right now. So let's continue. So the next, as we can see, the third selection method is the telephone interviewing. But in most situations, we use it in the combination with the application with the questionnaires, right? So we have seen the three selection methods, which is application forms, the questionnaires, and telephone interviews. So, and I have some questions for discussions right now. Let's see, would be you as a homework assignment. What are the advantages of using the telephone interviews? And for what type of job would you use the approach for selection? The first, just have to say the advantage of telephone interviews, right? And the second question, you have to identify for what kind of types of a job, let's say for the vacancy or the positions, you will select the methods of approach. What methods you think that would be useful and efficiency from the selection methods? Yeah, this is for the two questions for discussions, and let's say it would be as a homework assignment. And we have a fourth, the selection method is a testing. Yeah? So sometimes it comes with a combination of application forms, like a testing, the next level, let's say, of recruitment process. So here we say that, for example, based on statistics data, 72% of organizations, they're using them, literacy of numerically tests. And 60% using the personality test, the personal test. So you might see in some corporate website they have their own testing, like tests or exams, questions. So this comes with like questionnaires. So the most of organizations use this method to identify your skills and your knowledges. Yeah, will you be met with the vacancy? And testing by today is more likely to use for the professions like a management, or for the profession with the high skilled, for the vacancy with the high skilled professions. Yeah, to identify your knowledges in a specific field, or let's say to identify your logical thinking, your movement. So this is we use testing. I think you might go through a wave based on the testing. The next one, we have selection methods like group selection methods and assessment centers. The Plumlee, he described the purpose of group selection methods as being to provide the evidence about the candidate's ability to get on with others, influence others, and the way they do this, express themselves verbally, think clearly and logically, argue from past experience and apply themselves to the new problem, and identify the type of role they play in group situation. This is like you might seen it or you heard about that we have some group selection when the company select a few candidates from application, for example, and then we'll give them some assignment in the group. The assignment can be as a group or individually. And after that, the HR manager will, let's say, monitor the candidates and who is like, let's say, the active from them, who can be identified as a leader, who like think more logically. Because when we have a group selection, like we identify a few candidates and makes a group identify which is the best of them, we make them as the competitors. Yeah. So here is the candidates, they compete to each of them to show that they are the best candidate for the vacancy. And in this kind of situation, we're identifying the best leader, the best candidate with the good logically thinking and with the fast thinking as well. You might think this kind of methods of selection in some companies. The next one, segments, we have some work sampling or portfolios and references. So what is a work sampling portfolio? This is based on your resume and CV. We identify and select the candidate based on their CVs, or like say portfolio, like we're going to see their background experience on the papers. And references, this is like a recommendation. Sometimes we select the people based on the recommendation because of, for example, the company or partner company recommended you the candidate, or might be your friend, or let's say your good, let's say the past colleagues recommend you the new candidate. And but the recent time, the recommendations is being very high demand in the field of professionals, like high professional and top managers. Yeah, here is the references. It's let's say this seems as the most important criteria to choose the good candidate. So recommendations is as well is very good, but actually the recommendation like references comes with a combination with your CV and resume, with your good knowledge and experience, like some additional, let's say, the opportunity for you and like advantages for your portfolio to get the new vacancy or to get the promotion, let's say. So let's make the conclusion based on our selection and recruitment process. So, first of all, the combination of selection methods is usually chosen based on the job or appropriateness, acceptability, time, administrative cost, accuracy, and able to selection staff. So most of companies, the recent time they use the selection method in the combination, as we have seen, like the application forums, questionnaires, tasting, interviews by the telephone or the Skype and so on. Yeah, we use in combination. And different countries, they often have a different view on which method is the best or appropriate for the company. So let's say in some countries, the recommendation seems as the best criteria to choose the candidate. In other countries, it could be like the best method is getting the testing or some examination questionnaires for the candidate. Yeah, here is you can identify his knowledges and skills. So this is often the company and often the country and its mentality, which methods you will use to select the best candidate for the vacancy. And I have some questions for discussion. Here is given to you some interesting statement. You might accept this statement or agree with this statement. It could be argued that the selection process identifies the candidates who are competent in the selection process, rather than in candidates who are most competent to perform the job on offer. So what do you think? In your opinion, do you think that the most of HR managers, they identify, they select people who is actually good in the selection process? Sometimes we can be lucky to get through the selection process. Sometimes we can be unlucky in this process. Yeah. Sometimes we have we think that we are high professional people. We have all knowledge, skills, and education experience, all they require the candidate should have. But we might be unlucky in the selection process. For example, you might be emotionally nervous or something else. Or like, let's say, some subjective relationship could be happen between the new candidate and the HR manager. You must have a bad conversation, or let's say the HR manager might think that you are not good looking, let's say, or think that you talking at the wrong way or something else. Yeah, you see, here is we have a few points which gives us gives us opportunity go through the selection process, or just would be as reject as the candidate. So what do you think about this statement? This is very interesting. Actually, I believe sometimes the candidates can be unlucky in the selection process, but they might be very good in the performance of that job itself. What do you think? Any idea about this statement? So in this situation, we must have some objective view and some objective selection of the candidate, right? And if we talk about the HR managers, we might have some group of HR managers who would participate in the selection methods to get some objective opinion about the candidate. Yeah, it's very important. You see, the first steps and levels when we select a candidate is based on the CV, the resume, the application forms, right? We can identify, let's say, the 5 of people of candidates who will be met with our vacancy. Then from these 5 people, we should select the ones which we think would be the best met with the vacancy. How to make it? We can get some testing, some examination for them based on their knowledges, and as well we might have some interviews. And the things that sometimes in the interviews process we might make some let's say the mistakes maybe, yeah. Let's say from the employee side, you might answer for wrong question, or you might didn't understand the question itself, let's say, yeah, or you might be so nervous so you couldn't get the question itself and you don't know what to answer. Sometimes this happens, that this is like a normal the human emotional your emotions, your own feelings that can be let's say will give you some wrong opinion or wrong understanding. This is like one. So it's very important if you are employee or you're going to get a new job like a candidate, you have to be very focused on the question of interviews. You have to be very focused what you are going to do in the company. You have some maybe plan or project, and very meaningful, thinking logically, right? So that, and concentrate on the interviews. So because why I talk about the interviews, the most of the wrongs and mistakes that happens at the interview process. So there is sometimes we have no understanding between the let's say the HR manager and the new candidate. So okay, thank you for your answers. So I got it already. So that's very good. So we have completed the resourcing topic with the 2 parts. The next topic will be based on performance. Let me see first. The next topic is the next topic, and the next class will be the 5th class, the 6th, I think, the 6th class. Let me see how many sessions we got already. So there is the 4th class. The next one would be the 5th class. The 5th class we have a performance topic about performance of employees. Yeah, and it's under 6 HRM topic, under 6 number. And the information here is the important I want to announce you that I have sent you email with your HRM examination based on the final group assignment. I have sent you, let me see, that you should got, all of you, the group assignment, which is based on the case study of Kellogg's company on the motivation theories. The motivation theories, actually, this is the topic which is the futures topic. We haven't reached it. But anyway, I will give you enough time to be prepared. You can review it once you want to. So you have a group assignment, which will be assist. I will assist you and evaluate your based on the group assignment. there you have 4 questions at the end of the case study. You should answer for all of the 4 questions. As it's group assignment, each group must have 3 to 5 members. So you have to try to manage your group yourself, how is better for you, because the students actually do it themselves to identify their groups and the members. You can identify the leader of your group who would be responsible to combine all the answers and send me by email to my email. So hand-on day is today, the 5th of July, and the submission day will be the 1st of September. So you have almost 2 months to complete the case the assignment. I think it's enough time for you. If you will have, let's say, the 4 group members, each of them can answer for the question. So you can answer in combination. Let's say it's up on you, up on each of group. First of all, yeah, you should send me your group members. You try to manage your groups and the members among of your classmates, because I cannot to manage and settle the groups. I think it will be best for you to make yourself your groups, yeah, to identify how is the better you can communicate and to complete the assignment. And you already can review the topics that we have based on motivation theories and the rewards to answer for the questions, yeah. And you can use the ebook that I send you, all the slides, presentation that you have it. You can use additional information from literature, from ebooks, from internet, but please be aware about the plagiarism, because I think I have sent you the information, what is the plagiarism, how to reference and make citation based on your work. So as you are studying an MBA course as a master, you should follow the academic rules to writing the assignments, any kind of projects. And what is the plagiarism issue? You cannot just copy someone's information and pass in your work. You should make the citations. If you use the ebooks, journals, gazettes, articles, so you have to cite to show me where did you get these sources, and show me the reference list at the end of your paper. Yeah. I'm not sure. Did you have the information about the plagiarism and how to reference the academic papers? If you don't know, that I have sent you all the information already in your mailbox. You can read yourself, or I can explain on the next classes if you'd like so. So if you already made your groups, your teams, so that's okay. You can, if you made for the other subjects, you can remain based on HRM as well, and send me your groups which is already done. That's very good. So that will be easy for you. You should send me to my email the list of your group members. Yeah, how many actually groups we have? How many groups we have actually at the moment? How many groups you have it? Let me ask you. We have 3, 4, 5 groups. because based on the list, we have 28 or 25 students. There must be 4 or 5 groups, I think so. Yeah. So just send me the group members based on each group. And try to work on the assignment. Try to make all the members to work on the assignment, because sometimes I have complaints from the group members that they said that someone didn't answer for the question that we request for, and so on. Try to be responsible, because this is like you're as a master's already adult, not like students at the school and universities. You're more highly qualified professionals. And sometimes I got like the people who done the assignment individually, the answer for the all 4 questions, because the rest of members, they didn't reply and request for the questions, yeah, for the assignment questions. But if we have someone who left from the groups, you can do that assignment individually, but you have to answer for the all 4 questions. Because I got some situation where the student he didn't join any group, then he tried to answer for the 1 question of the group assignment. Of course, he failed, because he must join the group first of all. If he couldn't, then he has to answer for the all question of a group assignment. Yeah, this is important. You cannot select the question if you are not in the group. If you are in the group, you can manage in yourself between your members. What's the question you can got and reply. Yeah, this is what I want to tell you. Okay, that's all for today, actually. So we have completed the resourcing part. The next topic based on performance, we are going to start on the next class, next session. So any questions so far, just email me. And please email me your group members, yeah? So that would be good. And once you will review the case study, and if you have any question, you can email me as well. So thank you very much. Have a good weekend. So see you on the next Friday. Goodbye.